Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting MacWhisperer live broadcast. I'm Frank, your host for today. As always, it's great to have everybody with us today. With all the new fantastic features with iOS 18, we know that staying productive and organized can be a challenge, especially when it comes to navigating Safari's updates. But not to despair, we're here to show you how to make Safari a powerful tool for focused and distraction-free browsing. And of course, guiding us through all of this is Dylan Stewart, aka the MacWhisperer. We'll bring Dylan in a minute. Today, Dylan's going to be walking us through Safari's top features in iOS 18 that can help us control our online experiences, from hiding distractions to organizing tabs and beyond. I think he's going to be hitting on customizing Safari, using reader mode, which is to strip away ads, which is always great, tabs, tab groups, walk you through the Safari updates, and of course, I'm sure we're going to get a MacWhisperer pro tip near the end. Also near the end, it's your opportunity to ask Dylan your toughest Apple questions live. So please drop those questions in the chat. You can do that now if you already have some, or you have some questions along the way. Please do so. Love to see everybody just respond in general. Reach out, say hi. Tell us where you're from. Give us your name. See a lot of people here today. That's terrific. We love hearing from the MacWhisperer community. And we're here to make you or help make the most out of these new features in every one of these live broadcasts that we do. Please don't forget to share, like, spread the word about this broadcast and everything else that we do here. Your support helps us grow the MacWhisperer community and continue bringing you ad-free, high-quality tech tips. During today's broadcast, of course, we're going to give you and provide you a QR code for our free cheat sheets. We are switching the name of that to Smart Guides, so you'll be receiving your first Safari Smart Guide. It's packed with essential tricks, help you get the most out of the Safari iOS 18. So, with all that being said, let's jump right in. We'll bring Dylan in to say hello. There he is. Hey, Dylan.
Hello. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all here today.
So I was just prepping everybody a little bit on Safari iOS 18. We're all excited. I know I am. And you have something to you want to address the team? Something you want to say before we get going?
Yeah, I just want to start off with a couple of pieces. The reason we do these live broadcasts is really to make it easy for us to connect with you. YouTube videos are great, but they're a little isolated. I make them in my basement, so to speak. You guys aren't there. You're not my audience. I pretend that I'm talking to you directly. Then I edit it. Then I release it. And outside of comments, I don't really get to talk to you guys. And my favorite thing of what I do, and I've been doing this for 20 years, is the relationships that I create and the way that I can help people really change their lives and change how they use technology. And so these lives are a way for me to connect with you in a different way, to support the people that are on our YouTube channel and coming to our YouTube channel, and to give you some value so that right off the bat, you know how to use your technology better and you get to know what we do and connect with the MacWhisperer and our concepts and the way that we teach. I'm glad to have you here today.
That's great. We hear from all the time everything that you bring people and helping their tech lives declutter and just streamline productivity. We take for granted having an iPhone now, but still many of us have no idea how much there is to learn and how much it is that we don't know. I mean, that cliche, don't know what you don't know, that's really opened my eyes here and everything that you've shown me and everybody in the community. So thanks.
Absolutely. Awesome. Are we ready to get ourselves rolling?
Yeah.
What's our plan?
Bring up the phone.
I think I want to talk about it for a second and then I'll bring it up. So okay. Let's just keep it on the two of us for a moment and then I'll cue you. Yep. There's a billion different browsers out there. I mean, not a billion, but more than there should be. You could be using Firefox, you could be using Chrome, you could be using Edge, you could be using Opera or Cab or Brave or DuckDuckGo has their own browser. And people get really confused by this concept that there are all these different browsers out there. So they basically use the one that somebody told them was good and they continue to use it. Ever since Google Chrome came on the browser scene, people love Chrome. They love to use it and they use it for everything. They've even gone on and downloaded it on their iPhone because somebody told them Chrome was great. I'm not that somebody. I believe that Safari is the best browser out there for a number of reasons. And I don't really care what browser somebody uses. I mean, more or less they can all do similar things, but just randomly picking one and saying, that's my browser for life, is kind of undermining the capabilities of it. So use whatever browser you want to use, but have a reason for it. And I'm going to tell you my reasons why I like Safari. And they're pretty simple. The first one is, it is the default browser on all of your Apple products, and it's made by Apple, which allows it to sync with all of your Apple devices, all of your Apple apps, and all of your other Apple ecosystem pieces. You don't have to patch things together. You don't have to change settings. If you do nothing, Safari syncs with everything. With Chrome, you can download it, but you're going to have all this work to do to make it talk to your phone, to your computer, to your iPad. It may not sync right. It may not connect to other features. So if you're going to use Chrome, have a really good reason for it. First reason, as I said, is because it's the default browser and it syncs with everything. The second reason is really the same as the first reason. It syncs with everything, which means that I can have a web page on my phone, get home, and open that web page on my computer without any hassle. I can create a bookmark from my phone. The bookmark exists on my computer. Having that synchronicity is really powerful. The third reason is security. You may not realize it. When you're doing a Google search, you know that Google's paying attention, right? Because when you do a Google search, you see ads for whatever you searched for on other websites. Oh my God, how do they know I'm planning a trip to Tahiti? Well, because you searched, places to go in Tahiti, and it was like, oh, obviously they're going to Tahiti. And now it starts advertising plane flights. Everything's interconnected. Google is spying on everything you do, and you know it when you use their search, even if you don't want to admit it. But when you use their browser, they have access to everything you do online. So it's one thing for me to do a Google search and Google to know that I'm searching for Tahiti, but it's another thing for me to go to Facebook or Amazon and have Google know who I talked to and what I bought. That's none of Google's business. Safari is not in the business of, Apple and Safari is not in the business of selling your data. They make enough money from selling you products. Key piece, if the product doesn't cost anything, you're the product, right? So if you're going to use Google Chrome, recognize that everything you do is being tracked to a way higher degree, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. But when you use Safari, you have control over it and, to a certain extent, privacy. And I say to a certain extent because it depends on the websites, but at least the browser itself isn't in my business. And what I do on the browser is a little more secretive. So we're going to talk about Safari. We're going to focus on the iPhone for Safari. I'm going to give you some very specific tools. I'm going to teach you how to use the address bar, some of the basic tools that exist like bookmarks, the history, the reading list. We're going to talk about how to share from Safari in a number of ways. And I'm going to talk to you about organizing Safari through not just bookmarks, but through tabs and tab groups. And the tab groups is something that I've not found any way to replicate on Chrome, and it's one of my favorite pieces. As usual, is Manny here today?
Manny is here. Actually, he
Manny
just popped
here,
in.
so.
And looks like it's a chilly night in November, of course, in England.
So for Manny and anyone else who is an avid watcher of our YouTube channel, we have a YouTube membership. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. But the members of the YouTube membership, I get to call them out because I know who they are. Manny's one of them. He was one of the first ones on. I just want to say thank you for being here. Manny, I got a great power tip for you. Now, it requires Apple Intelligence, which means you need to have an iPhone 15 Pro or later. but it's still a really powerful tip, and we're going to talk about it. I'm
Craig,
ready to get started.
I don't know if you can see this, but Craig just announced that he
Nice.
became a member. Looks like Kenneth.
Awesome, Craig. Welcome. I can't wait to connect with you more. As I've said on the last broadcast and future broadcasts, when we have enough members, I will start doing videos like this live just for the members. So there's going to be additional content for those of you who are helping support what we're doing here. And it means so much that you trust us to help bring you this information, and that membership really, really, really goes a long way. So thank you for that, Craig.
Kenneth integrated with Apple Intelligence, so he's excited about
Nice.
that. And Lily is really excited about today's Safari session. So everybody's in gear.
All right, let's pull our screen up and let's get started. I'm ready.
Excellent. And we'll go right to the phone. Here we be.
Here we be. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the address bar for Safari. Now I'm going to go into Safari here, and you're going to notice that the address bar is down at the bottom. I'm going to temporarily change that because I want to show you what it used to look like and why they changed it. Because everybody hates when anything gets changed. They want things to stay the same as they were decades and decades and decades ago, because it's not like technology has improved, right? It's exactly as it was in 1981. We shouldn't touch anything. Everything should stay the same. I don't believe in that. I believe we should keep updating and growing and making things better. The address bar used to be at the top of the mobile Safari because that's where it was on the computers. And on the computers, that makes sense because we're not touching our computers with our hands. We're using a mouse, we're using a trackpad. So having it up at the top keeps it out of our way. But where do you put your finger when you're working on the iPhone? Oh, I don't know. Maybe at the bottom. Let's draw a little circle as to where that would be. Your thumb is generally going to be somewhere around the bottom of the screen there. So having the address bar all the way up at the top here means that you have to change the grip every time you want to go there. You have to put the phone in your left hand so you can touch it with your right hand, even though your hand was right on it, or you got to do a little shuffle maneuver to kind of move your finger around. Now that's fine if you're only going to go there, once or twice a day, but the address bar is a key piece. So why'd they bring it to the bottom? Well, I'm going to put it back at the bottom so we can talk about that. If you are interested in changing it to the top or the bottom, inside of Settings under Apps Safari, you'll see this section that says Tabs. And I want you to notice what it's called. This one is called the Tab bar. It's not called the at the bottom bar. And this one is called Single Tab. Oh, that's a hint. Maybe the single tab only shows us one tab at a time. Huh. Let's go double check. Let's go see if we can see more than one tab. No, there's just one. Okay, that's fine. I can click the tab button in the lower right-hand corner to go to my tabs. That's fine. But my finger's already down at the bottom of the screen. So let's go back to Settings. Let's change it to the tab bar. And let's get ourselves in here. Now we see it at the bottom, and I want you to notice something. If I slide my finger on the bottom, it's going to allow me to go to the other tabs that are open, which is really helpful because I don't have to move my finger. My thumb's already there. That's where I hold my phone. Now let's talk about tabs. Before we jump into the address bar, I want to talk about tabs because this is the critical difference between mobile Safari, which is on the iPhone and the iPad, and actual Safari, which is on the computer. On our computer, we have a start page. You can have a start page. So when you open up your Safari on the computer, it takes you to Google, or it takes you to Yahoo, or it takes you to wherever your start page is, and you get to start your browsing from a distinct location. But when you're working on the phone, you could be doing something on Safari and the phone could ring. And I gotta leave Safari to go do whatever. I'm answering my phone call, I'm going into notes and I'm making a note. And then when I come back to Safari, imagine it started me over. That would be crazy. I would lose so much time because I'd have to keep redoing what I was doing every time I got interrupted. In addition to that, when you're on your phone and you have an email or a website link that you click on and you click on it, it opens that website link into Safari over the existing tab. So a moment ago we were here, but now I've got a new tab on top of it. This is because Safari on the phone works with this tab system. It keeps your tabs open perpetually unless you manually close them, so that when you get interrupted, or when you click on a link, or when you restart your phone, you're not starting from scratch. You've got the record of everything you do. And I want you to think about your computer, and I want you to think about how freaked out you are of closing or quitting your browser, especially if you're using Chrome. It's like, oh my God, I will never restart my computer because I can't lose that Chrome tab because I don't have any idea where everything, I can't leave it open all the time. That's just foolish. Now, there are systems that we can use to get around that, but the phone couldn't have that flaw. It was built around stacking your tabs onto each other, which means that if you're not paying attention, you're going to have 10,000 tabs and things are going to slow down. Talk about tabs more in a moment. I want to talk about this simple concept that we all use this screen right here to quit apps so that we can save battery. Super flawed. It's a super flawed system. People running around constantly quit, quit, quit. Every time they open something, they quit it. I want to show you, I don't quit things. I don't quit things. There's tons of things there. Now, does that mean I never quit them? No, if I have a problem or if I'm running out of battery juice and I'm not sure why, I'll quit them, but I don't do it habitually. However, what I recommend people do, rather than that to save battery, is don't leave 500 tabs open in Safari, because the tabs are wearing down batteries more than the apps that are open, especially if they're on a map or something that's constantly updating like Facebook. So don't quit your apps, but do close your tabs. All right. So we've talked a little bit about tabs, and we can see that with the bar down at the bottom, I can easily move from one tab to the other and see the different sites that I'm on. In addition to that, in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got this button that is our tab button. That's it right there. Clicking that tab button shows you a bird's eye view of all of your open tabs, and you can close them in a couple of ways. The first way you can close them, we're done with Halloween, I think I can close these jack-o'-lanterns. You can press the little X in the upper right-hand corner. But I want you to remember, Apple knows you've got fat fingers, and I'm not calling you out. I have fat, maybe you have do you have skinny fingers, Frank? Because I don't, right? I have a fat finger. It happens. Hitting that little X is really hard to do. And a lot of times when I try to do it, I miss it and I end up opening the tab instead, which was not what I wanted to do. Apple knows you've got fat fingers. So the act of closing out your tabs, there's an easier way to do it. Instead of doing it by clicking that X, you're literally going to just, where's my arrow? Here's my arrow. You're literally going to swipe to the left. Swipe it off the screen like this. Boom. That's the fastest way to close those tabs. So as you look through all the tabs you've got open, you're like, wow, why is this Google page open? I don't need that. You can swipe it. Now, you may want to save some tabs because you're in the middle of stuff. You don't necessarily want to close all of them. But if you do want to close all of them, you can do it in one single movement by pressing and holding on that tab button. Get rid of that. Hold on, let me get rid of the drawing. Okay, do that again. Pressing and holding on the tab button instead of just tapping it will give you a bunch of options, including this one right here where you can close all your tabs at once. So if you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tabs and you don't even know what they all are and you don't want to go through them, don't. Just close them. It's not the end of the world. If you do want to save them, you may want to go manually and start closing them one at a time. But as we continue in this call, you're going to learn a different way to save those tabs so that you can get them out of the main view and clear out the main view. Okay. Now I want to come back down here. We're going to talk a little bit more about our address bar. In addition to it being used for swiping back and forth, the address bar also has two very, very different but very important functions. The first one is going to an address. I'm going to click on it. It's now ready for me to type. If I know the website that I'm going to, as I start to type the name of the website, it's going to give me suggestions. And we can see these suggestions up at the top. That's going to take me directly to Amazon. So if I click go, immediately I'm going to go to the Amazon webpage. So that's the first function, is using the address bar to go to an address. The other function is using it for search. So if I don't know the address of what I want, and I'm just like, hey, I need cool shirts, because you know me and cool shirts. Up at the top, there does happen to be a website called coolshirt.com. So let's, you know, I don't want to accidentally go to that, but I can easily click on this search here, cool shirts for men, just like that. And instead of taking me to a specific website, it does a search with whatever my browsers, or with whatever my search engine is. And you can choose what search engine you use. So let's go back over to settings and talk about that for a second. I think I closed settings because I was showing people not to close things. All right, we're in settings. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom into apps. I'm going to use the letters on the right side to jump to the S. This is part of the new iOS 18 setting design. I don't love it, but I'm working with it. Inside of here, you're going to find your choice of your search engine. There are 5 search engines built into Safari. Google. Great, we all know Google. We've all used it. Yahoo. Some people prefer Yahoo search. I think that's foolish, but that's me. Bing, this is Microsoft's search engine, and it's considered a close comparison to Google. DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a privacy-based search engine. It's decent. I don't love their results, but you know, for privacy's sake, great. And Ecosia, which I actually don't know a lot about, but my understanding of it is that they support ecological I don't know, supports ecology. It may be doing something along the lines of, as you search, they plant a tree. I don't know enough about it to get deeper into it, but these are the 5 options that we've got. I like Google. Now, for those of you who know me, the fact that you just heard me say I like Google, please do not put that out there. Do not let the world know that I like Google. I actually don't like Google. I actually think Google's are really...
I'm grabbing that sound clip.
Yes, I knew you were going to. I like Google for search. I think they are the world's best search engine. I don't like them as a company. I don't like Chrome. I don't like Google Docs. I don't like Google Drive. But I have not found a comparison to Google search for finding what I'm looking for quickly. What do you use for a search engine, Frank?
I'm Google.
Yeah. So, you know, Google became a massive company because their search engine was great, and then they used that to take advantage of privacy every chance they get. But whatever. Stepping off my soapbox. You can change your search engine inside of Safari, which means you don't need to use Google Chrome to do a Google search, which is shocking for some people. So as we come back into our bar here, again, it can be used for a specific address or for any search based on your search engine, allowing you to very easily go to any page that you want to or find anything. Now, there's some other tools that exist within this address bar that I want to talk about. We're going to do it kind of quickly. I'm going to move over to this page here. This is an article from a website I look at a lot called Mac Rumors. Now I want you to notice in the lower left-hand corner of the address bar, there's little sparkles, right? I want you to keep your eye out for those sparkles. This is a part of Apple Intelligence, and it's basically saying it's got something special for you. It's located something that it can help with. We'll talk about that in just a second. Before we do, I'm going to tap on that button. And that's going to open up a couple of pieces of information. Now, the first one is what those sparkles were. Essentially, it's created a summary of this entire page for me. But in addition, it's got this thing called Show Reader. And when you click Show Reader, it takes that page and it eliminates the vast majority of distractions, giving you the article and the images and not all the other gobbledygook. Mac Rumors is a really good example for this because their page is super busy. Another one that I use all the time, Mac Daily News. I think it'll come up. I search for it, Mac Daily News. Where are you? There you go. Is also super, super, super busy and has all sorts of stuff. There it goes. Has all sorts of stuff going on, ads and things that keep their lights on. I'm going to go, say, here's another like, oh, great, get in my way, Mac Daily News. Thanks. I'm going to go into a specific article here. I got to get past the ad. Here's the article. Down at the bottom, reader view is available. So as I come in, it went into reader view automatically. So we'll go ahead and trick it, go back into show reader. You'll see that it's just giving me the details that I need. It's giving me the specifics, not all the gobbledygook. So whenever possible on your phone, when you're reading an article, check to see if there is a reader view available because it will strip all of the clutter and make it easier to see that article. In addition to that, the reader view now has some additional functions. You can change the color of your screen really easily. You can change the font of your screen really easily. So with a couple of button clicks, I can make it easier to read at night or easier on my eyes. I can also click the big A and little a down at the bottom to make it bigger or smaller, allowing me to fully customize this article right here directly from Safari. I'm going to go back, I'm going to click on our little button here. You also have the ability in the lower left-hand corner here to search for anything on that page. So if I come in and I'm like, hey, I want to know where you say the word Apple, it's going to show me all 4 places in this article that Apple exists. All of that is available directly from your address bar with the reader view. But there's other stuff there too. And if you see in the lower right hand corner, let me clear my circle. If you see in the lower right hand corner, there are these 3 dots. And clicking that gives me a whole bunch of other options, including the ability to add this to my favorites, to bookmark it, to add a quick note, pin that tab so I can always find it easily, move it to a tab group, which I promise we're going to talk about in just a couple of minutes here. You can even force it to give you a desktop website. What does that mean? Well, most websites have a version made for the computer that has all sorts of functionality and a version made for the phone that is dumbed down for the phone. Clicking Request Desktop Website will allow you to get the fully functional website. It may be a little slow on some websites on the phone, but it's got those capabilities here. You've also got specific preferences for this specific website, like, do I want it to have camera access? Do I want it to have access to my microphone? Do I want it to have access to my location? So if there's a website you go to all the time that's constantly asking you for location capability, I'm looking at you, Google, you can change that here and make sure it always has that capability so that you don't have to monkey around with it. So there's a ton of things that exist inside of that address bar that most people aren't using or aren't realizing. One of the other things that you can do is sometimes a website, we're going to hide our reader view here, sometimes a website needs to be updated or didn't load properly. And when that happens, it's really, really easy for you to refresh by pulling down from the top of the screen like this. Now, when I say that, don't pull down from the top edge of the screen because you're going to end up with your control panel or you're going to end up with your notification center, neither of which are what you want. Just pull down, let's say, from the top section. You can also pull down from the middle. It'll do the same thing. Don't do it from the top, very top. And that'll refresh that page super, super simply. Okay. Thoughts on any of that, Frank? Anything that I didn't get into that you got any questions on before I move to the next piece here?
No, but it's a good reminder for people that do have questions to continue to put them in the chat because we'll get to those later. We probably should take a pause if you're okay with a pause.
Give me a moment.
Yeah, finish.
Come back for that pause.
Yep.
I think it's a good reminder. Give me 5 minutes and we'll take that.
Sounds good.
So remember that this address bar is super functional, lets you get into all of these separate websites and also lets you easily flip between the tabs that are open so that you don't have to constantly come into here to look through it this way. The tabs that you're most recently in are right here and you can just scroll through them easily. But there's another function here. Now I want you to notice on the right side of our address bar here, you can see the peeking edge of another tab. So I'm going to go ahead and move over one more screen. This was the screen from the website the email that I clicked on. Notice now there's no other tab on that right side. It's empty. It's almost as if we're on the last tab, which we are. Let's prove it. I'm going to click on our tab button here. Yep, that Christmas shirt one is the last tab here. Why does that matter? Because when you're on your front tab and you swipe from the right side to the left side, you automatically get a new web page and a start page. What's start page? What does that mean? Well, we talked about having a home page on your computer website where you can go to Yahoo, or you can go to Google, or you can go to whatever you want every time you open up the web. Apple's designed a start page here that you can customize. Up at the top, it shows all your favorites. It also shows iCloud tabs. This means tabs from Safari that are open on other devices. For example, you can see here it shows a computer icon and it says on Enigma 2023. That's one of my laptops. So this website was open on my home computer. Clicking on it will bring it right up here. I don't have to go to my computer and share it and where's that login and what's that information. I can easily sync it. Now I'm going to go back to the start page again. Remember, as long as you're on your top tabs, swiping from the right to the left opens up the start page. Here we've got favorites, tabs, our reading list. We'll talk about that in a moment. Suggestions, recently closed tabs. Hey, remember that jack-o'-lantern tab that I closed? Maybe you closed it by accident. I can bring it right back up if I want to. Privacy reports, and down at the bottom it's got the edit button. The edit button is the key to what we want to talk about here, because when you click that, it gives you the ability to fully customize your start page. And by customizing it, you can choose which things you do or don't want. Like, I don't really care about their suggestions, and I don't need the recently closed tabs because I don't have that problem, and I don't really care about their privacy report. So I can streamline this, and I can also come in and add any image that I want, either from the web or from my library right here. So if I click the X in that, we'll see here we've got this image of the train tracks with the leaves behind it. If I click that X right there, it'll clear that. I can click the plus button. It'll open up my library. I can grab this one instead, and immediately I have a brand new start page with a brand new image. That start page is super helpful because it's a great jumping off point to your favorites, to things that are open on other devices, or to your reading list. So don't underestimate that. Last thing, dead last thing on this topic, on this address bar topic. How many of you dictate? Frank, do you use dictation? Right? You've used a lot more since you've come into my life, because I dictate all the time.
I learned it from you, and I can't believe what a time savings is.
So on Safari, it's a really big time saver, and it's right there. You can see that microphone right there. Now, what you can do is you can tap on the address bar, and then you can tap on your dictation command in the bottom right corner to dictate, but you don't need to do that with Safari. It's got a better way of doing it. Instead of going into the address bar first, and then dictating, if you just click on the microphone, it will take your dictation and take you to that web page. So if I wanted to go to Mac Rumors, I would just hit this, Mac Rumors. Great example, Dylan. Let's try that again. Mac Rumors. For whatever reason, it doesn't like the word rumors, and it's taking me to Mac Cosmetics, but you get the idea of it. Let's try something differently. The MacWhisperer. Little better, little better. So it not only takes your dictation, but it immediately takes you to that web page, which can make it really quick for you to go to a page without even typing a single letter. So that's the address bar. Frank, over to you.
Nice job. I love it. So much information. Value in everything we do. And along the lines of that, let's bring up our smart guide. So we're off cheat sheets. We're now calling them smart guides, which I think is terrific. And our team continues to do an amazing job creating these guides for everybody. So there's jam-packed tips, smart guide, essential tricks, help you get the most out of your Safari iOS 18. Scan that QR code. It's our gift to you. Again, it's all about value. You can also use the URL right there. And honestly, we enjoy doing them. The team loves doing them. And that's from us to you. Also, we should probably talk about, we have a couple of people that have chimed in that they've become recent members. We saw one earlier. Did you want to talk a little bit about membership?
Are we talking about MacWhisperer membership or YouTube members?
Let's talk about both. Let's talk about the YouTube membership. We can do both, but
great.
Let's talk about the YouTube membership.
So for those of you who think this is what I do 100% of my days, I'm just on live videos and making YouTubes all the time. I've actually got a day job. Granted, my day job is teaching people how to use Apple technology, so it's not like they're complete. It's not like I'm, out building transmissions in a garage or something. I'm still doing Apple stuff, but I have to spend a lot of my time, I get to spend a lot of my time working directly one-on-one with people, doing remote administration, showing people how to use this technology. But my favorite thing right now is what I'm getting to do with the YouTube channel. It just takes time. Your support helps me do that more. So if you love what we're doing here, if you love these lives, I can use your support. I can use your help. And the first and easiest way you can do that is directly on the YouTube website. And I believe Frank's got a link that we'll show in a moment for that. Directly from the YouTube website, there is a place where you can join the MacWhisperer Academy channel. There are 3 separate levels. There's the Mac Mini for 99 cents a month. There's the Mac Medium for $4.99 a month. And there is the Mac Maximum for $19.99 a month. Each of these is a monthly contribution that helps us continue to build the channel and grow. We are very, very new in this membership conversation for YouTube. It's only been open for a couple of weeks. We've only got a handful of members. Hopefully, you'll become one of them. The more members we have, the more we will do for our members. It includes things like custom emojis that we'll create. It includes badges that you can show that you're a member of the MacWhisperer. It's a fun little apple that the longer you stay a member, it goes from a green apple all the way to a rainbow colored apple, and kind of does that automatically. I also get notified when you put comments down. So if you watch videos and you want to make sure I get your comments first, being a member will highlight them for me and will bring it directly to me. And when we're doing live things like this, it allows me to connect with you and really say thank you directly. So the membership is the single easiest way that you can help support this channel. Frank, do you have the link for the member?
I don't. It's that new that I'll make sure that we have it set up for next time. This was
I believe it's in our important links note. If while I'm doing the next lesson, take a look and you can put it in the chat. And if not, we'll make sure we have it later. But if you go directly to the YouTube channel, you will find it right there. There's an opportunity to join right from the home page, and we'll get that link for you.
Yep, let's do that. I'll have that set up. And I think there's a 30-day free promotion going on between now and Black Friday, right? I don't know if you want to talk about that.
That's correct. So the other way that we can work together, if you like what we're doing here, this is a condensed, slightly rushed, not as deep dive into the technology as I would love to do. I do a little bit of a deeper dive on YouTube videos, but for the real experience of not just doing a full-fledged deep dive into this technology, but having the opportunity to be a part of a community, ask questions in real time, make sure that I understand your challenges and issues and help guide you through them, the MacWhisperer membership is the best way to do that. It's $100 a month. We have a 30-day free trial because I know you're going to love it. And I'm not, come check it out. Come be a part of our classes. Our next live class is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's the first and third Friday of every month. Tomorrow's class is all about how to use calendars on your iPhone and how to master the new tools that iOS 18 brought with calendars and reminders being linked to each other. In addition to the live classes, we teach two 2-hour classes every month. We also have a live Q&A session for an hour twice a month, and that allows you to bring any question you've got. It doesn't need to be on topic. You can say, I need a new phone, what do I do? Or I clicked a button and I can't get back to the way it used to be, or how am I supposed to save notes? Whatever it is that you have a question on, I've heard it, we want to help you out with that. The MacWhisperer membership includes that community, includes all of our replays of all of our prior and future classes, includes discounts on courses, and it's another great way that you can support what we do here so that we can bring more of it to you.
Perfect. I found the link, and it's now in the chat for everybody. It's all great
Perfect.
stuff. All right.
Awesome. I'm gonna get us back in here. We got another session that I want to dive into to get the most out of Safari for you, and I'm ready when you are, Frank.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is the toolbar at the bottom of our page here, right? So we've talked briefly about the tab button here. I'm going to just talk about it for another moment. I'm going to click on it rather than pressing and holding on it. That shows us all the open tabs. Pressing and holding on it shows us all of these options that include things like entering a private mode. A private mode does not save or download any of your information. So if you're trying to buy a cool gift for your wife or your hubby and you don't want them accidentally stumbling across it on your computer or on your shared iPad, you can click on the private mode and it gives you a separate, an entirely separate set of tabs that is not tracked in any way, not saved in any way, and gives you that extra level of privacy. I'm going to press and hold on our tab button again and go back to our standard tabs. In addition to those tools, if you look up at the top, you're going to see these separate groupings, these things that say like date night or gifts or escape rooms. These are the tab groups that are going to be our final punch that we're going to talk about in just a couple of moments. So those all show up here as well. And then down at the bottom, we've got the ability to move any particular tab into a specific tab group or create a new tab, but don't use that to create a new tab. Just slide over to create a new tab because it's just an easier way to do it. Now let's talk about the other pieces we've got here. So back onto a page. Let's go to a real page. Let's go back to MacWhisperer. There we go. All right. To the left of the tab, we've got this open book icon. This open book icon is where you're going to find your bookmarks, your reader list, and your history. I'm going to click on it. Here on the far left side, we see our bookmarks, organized by what's called your favorites section, as well as additional bookmark sections that you may have set up in the past, either intentionally or unintentionally. I recommend people just use the favorites rather than accumulating bookmarks in 1,000 places. One of my big talking points across all of my teaching is consolidate your stuff. Don't have it scattered in 40 places. So having a favorites list allows me to quickly and easily get into all sorts of websites that I use all the time, whether it's some of the websites I use for learning stuff about the Mac, or some of the websites I use for paying my bills, or some of the websites I use for some of the courses that I've purchased. By organizing websites into folders and putting them into your bookmarks/favorite bar, bookmarks and favorites are the same thing, you can easily get to whatever page you're looking for without having to hunt around for it. Second thing, this is called the reading list. Words caught up there. The reading list. The reading list is a place to take any article that you want to read, but not right now, and save it on your phone where it will be saved for offline reading. If you've ever been on an airplane, remember back in the days when airplanes didn't have Wi-Fi, Frank? They like all have it now. Yeah, I grew up without Wi-Fi on airplanes. So you'd get on an airplane and you're like, damn, I don't have access to the article I wanted to read. Putting something in the reader list can change that. I'm going to show you how to add it to the reading list in a moment. It's a great way to keep track of articles that you want to get into, things that you want to read at any given point. Talk more about that in a moment. And then on the far right, you've got your history, which will show whatever things you've been searching for. And, I'm hesitant to even dig into what's in there because I search all the time. But you can see anything that you've opened up at any point almost infinitely. There's a setting inside settings that says how long it saves your history. I have it set for forever because why not? But that allows you to get into the history. I'm going to click the done button here. To the left of that is our famous share button. One of the things I love about Apple stuff is that the icons are universal. So we've seen that share button in notes, in calendar, in reminders, in mail, and it shows up all over the place. That share button is in photos, it's everywhere. But most people don't realize how many tools are hidden inside of every share button, and the share button is different on each app. So if I'm on this MacWhisperer webpage and I click the share button, I'm going to get a bunch of options. First of all, I can send this page to somebody that I've spoken to recently. Oh, look, there's Frank. Wonder why he's there. Because we've been talking like for the last hour here. So he's right here front and center, as are some of the other people I've most recently communicated with. Down in the next section here, you can share via apps, which means I can send this via text message, via an email. I can drop this into notes. I can even do one of my personal favorite things, add a specific web page into reminders. Why would you want to do that? Well, I'm constantly finding things I want to buy. It's just an all the time thing like, oh man, I really need that Griswold family Christmas shirt. It's hideous, Frank. I'm not going to buy it. I totally don't need it. I'm just using it as an example. I'm going to share it with Frank. All right. So now I'm going to click the share button here, and I'm going to go to where it says reminders, and it's going to create a link to that website that I can put specifically in any of my reminders lists. And guess which reminder list I'm going to put it in? My to purchase list. That way, from reminders, I've got a list of all of the website stuff that I want to purchase. And when I feel like spending money, which isn't every day, to be honest, but sometimes I'm like, hey, let's buy gifts, let's buy stuff for ourselves. I go right to my reminders sheet rather than trying to save everything as a bookmark. Because if you save everything as a bookmark, you find nothing. And it doesn't need to be a bookmark. I'm not going to revisit it 10,000 times. I just want to buy it. Putting it into reminders allows me to get it done instead of just holding on to it there. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. But the more important thing shows up down here where there's all these other options. For example, I can add it to a reading list. There's that option. I can add a bookmark. I can add it to favorites. For clarity, adding it to a bookmark and adding it to favorites are essentially the same thing. I would just use the add to favorites because it's going to put it in the right place first instead of asking you where to put it. In addition, you can add it to a quick note in case you need to reference it later. You can do a search on the page or add it to the home screen. We'll talk about that for just a second. We're going to use the example of MacWhisperer, which is there. Have you ever had a website that you need to go to all the time and you keep saying to yourself, I wish that was my home page on Safari and I could just click a button and just get right there. I don't want to go to Safari and search for it. Really easy to do. Press that share button. Come down to where it says add to home screen and click add. It will now give you that website right on your home screen. So anytime I want to go to the MacWhisperer, I can click there. It's going to take me right to that web page. Now in this case, it was just open, but even if it wasn't open, even if I was on this page instead, coming into here, will immediately jump it open and bring it front and center for me every single time. So if you like Yahoo or some other page, or you're constantly wanting to go to this website for this course or thing, save it, put it on your home screen. Okay, now if I don't move quick, I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to hit this piece very quickly. There's more to talk about with it, and I have videos on the YouTube channel that will express it. I'm also in the process of filming a new one specifically for iOS 18, so I'm going to be laser on it. Here's the deal. When you are organizing and managing all of these separate web pages, the tendency is to bookmark everything. I'm never going to be able to find it again, and I might have to quit it, I might have to start over. And then you have a list of 9,000 bookmarks, and you can't find anything because everything's there instead of it being organized. There is a tool called tabbed groups, and tab groups are a way to organize specific websites into separate chunks. You'll notice I have a bunch of them here, including one called shirts, which is really appropriate for this shirt. Rather than leaving this floating around inside of all of my tabs, I mean, there's 65 tabs, 62 tabs here. It's a lot of stuff there. What I can do is I can press and hold on the address bar here and move it directly to a tab group. Drop it right into shirts. It leaves this page. It's no longer on our main page now. But if I click the lines and dots in the middle here and go to shirts, we will find that in addition to all of my other shirts, that shirt is here. I don't know where it is, but it's here somewhere. Should be here somewhere. Is it that one? There it is. There it is. And by doing this, you can do searching and put things away as you're doing it instead of tossing it into the endless bookmark pile that you're never going to look through and you're never going to find anything. You should stop pretending that it's organized because it's not. And you should not bookmark everything. Some things are one and done. Once I buy this shirt, do I need to save the bookmark for another 100 years, dodging it every time I'm searching for things? No. So you get into the habit of creating these separate tabs in order to find what you're looking for. So I'm going to go back here. We're going to do one more just so you can see it. And I'm going to come over to iOS 18 information. This time I'm going to do it differently. There's multiple ways to move to the tab group. This time I'm going to do it from my share button at the bottom. And as I scroll down here, oh, I'm wrong. It's not there anymore. They moved it. Okay, so we'll do it the other way. That's fine. So what I can do from here is if I'm in this view, which is helpful because sometimes I need to do a lot of them, I can press and hold on it. And right from here, I can move that tab directly into my Mac research page and pull it right out of there. So don't leave your tab group with don't leave your standard tabs with every website open 100% of the time. Close it when you can. Don't dump everything into bookmarks. Bookmarks are for websites you go to a lot, again and again and again and again and again, like paying your bills. Use tab groups to create subsections of the websites for projects that you will eventually complete. So if I come in here and I'm looking at escape rooms, just as another example, because I do escape rooms all the time, once I've done a particular escape room, I can close that tab without worrying about it because I did that escape room. It's done now. I don't need it anymore. And I can just swipe it off the screen and my escape room tab group now has all of the escape rooms I haven't done, allowing me to easily keep track of what I'm doing, the shirts that I purchased, the research that I'm doing, and when I'm complete, get rid of it instead of bookmarking it for all time. Because in most cases, when it's done, it's done. All right. I promised that I was going to give a MacWhisperer power tip. Manny, this is for you. I'm going to try and trigger what happens to me all the time. Well, let's do, I know it's going to happen with Mac Daily News, so let's just go there. Because it always happens there. Okay, so here we are on this Mac Daily News website, and there are at least two things that are already annoying the hell out of me. One of them is that I've got this ad right here of this jewelry basics box. This thing is taking up half of my screen. Like why is that there? With iOS 18 and Apple Intelligence, you can remove distracting items. Click on your little tool right in the address bar here. Choose where it says hide distracting items, and then click on them and click hide. Make that go away. I'm going to make that go away. And now all of a sudden, I've eliminated the most annoying pieces of this website, and I never have to look at them again. I want to be clear that hiding distracting items is not made for ads. Ads will eventually pop their way back on. It's really made for those things that are just in the way of your experience and easily can be removed without anybody caring. So I'm going to come back here, hide distracting items. We'll get rid of that one as well. Click done. See, it didn't disappear that time. They're like, no, we're leaving that one for you. But you get the idea that you can minimize the things that pop up. One of my favorite examples of this happens on Google, where it pops up and it says, use Chrome. I want to use Chrome. I'm on Safari. So you can hide those messages. Give me your location. You can hide those messages. It's easy to do. Clicking on that button, clicking on the hide distracting items, and click on anything on your screen, and it will disappear. If you did it by mistake, clicking back, you can say show hidden items, and it will bring them back onto the page so that you can be distracted with, I don't even know what that is up at the top. Is it like army gear? I don't know what that is. Anyways, that is hide distracting items. There's more we could talk about always, which is why the membership and the YouTube channel are so important, because I could spend 8 hours and not finish talking about Safari.
Yeah.
And then a month from now, there's going to be 14 new Safari tools, and I'll have to spend another 8 hours on it. Yeah. The ongoing learning that is possible for technology is only possible if you have no job and a ton of time, or someone who can help guide you through the wilderness. Consider me your tech Sherpa. I've done all the work, I've got all the equipment, and I know how to get you where we need to go without you freezing to death on the Mount Everest of random technological advances. Back to you, Frank.
I love how you keep us ahead of it. Absolutely. There was a couple of people that asked about distractions, so I'm glad you covered that. When is Apple Intelligence going to be rolled out in its entirety? Is that by the end of this year? Is it going to keep lingering in January 25?
So we only know about the first half. They released the first Apple Intelligence features. Take off the phone if you would. Let's just be you and I.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about Apple Intelligence for just a second. Make sure everybody understands what we're talking about. Apple is bringing AI tools into the devices that we use, so you don't have to go to insecure websites. You don't have to use ChatGPT. You don't have to learn how to use Midjourney or the 99 million other AI tools that have come out in the last 2 years. Apple's bringing them in-house and in true Apple fashion, keeping it simple. There are multiple layers of Apple Intelligence. The first one arrived about a week and a half ago with iOS 18.1. Apple Intelligence is only available for the iPhone 15 Pro and later. So if you have an earlier phone, it's not coming. It's not coming. Don't hold your breath. You will run out of air. It is not coming. It is only for the 15 Pro and later, because the hardware requirements of running AI on the device needs a chip that was more powerful than what they previously had. So I would say even the 16 is really where it starts to shine. iOS 18.1 includes a lot of text-based Apple Intelligence, the ability to reword, to customize, to proofread things. 18.2 is in the testing phase. I'm using it right now. I will show you, because go pull up the phone. I'm going to show my favorite thing about Apple Intelligence right now. This is how useless my some of the stuff that I do is, but I really, really love it. I'm going to go ahead and open up a text message chain.
Everybody's getting a taste of what the membership class is like, because this is what happens all the time. People are asking questions and you just start going off. It's great.
Pull up the phone, not the computer.
Oh, yeah, my fault.
Okay. So iOS 18.2 was released about 2 weeks ago, and it includes the first Apple Intelligence image creation features. So if you love emojis, right, but you realize not all emojis are available, right? You can't really find what you want. I really need, for whatever given reason, bananas and ice cream. I mean, I'm desperate for a banana and ice cream emoji. I would use it all the time. Oh, it doesn't want to do that. What did it not like about that? Did not like something about that. Let's try it again. Or it's not going to do it because we're sharing. And, oh, it's not going to do it. Damn it. Okay, well, moot point. Moot point. One of the new features that exists with 18.2 is the ability to create your own emojis. I've created a ton of them for my friends and family, and you will see that they are amazing and super fun and super easy to use. You'll see a handful of them here. Here's my Dylan holding a laptop and an apple emoji, or the Dylan with a heart emoji, or my friend Clay meditating. You can make emojis from people, which is just so much fun.
That's crazy.
So when is Apple Intelligence going to be fully out? I imagine that we'll be hearing pieces of it all the way until iOS 19 is released next September. I don't think they'll be done with it. They're rebuilding Siri from the ground up, and it's really complicated, and it's integrating OpenAI and ChatGPT. The first pieces are here. There's a lot coming.
It's great.
We got questions?
We do, but we are out of time. I'm going to give my email address. You guys keep me hopping in between these. I feel kind of guilty because I got you off track and I didn't ask you questions directly in Safari. What do you think about, because I know tomorrow is about calendars. What do you think about the first 3 people that email me? We give them an opportunity, an invitation to join the class tomorrow. Is that all right?
I love that idea. I love that. So you heard Frank. He's the one who gave it, especially if you asked the question earlier today that did not get answered. Hop on Frank's email, go bug him. He'll send you a link for tomorrow's class, and you can come see what it's like to actually interact with me, because this is a great experience, but it's kind of like, watching TV. I don't want you watching TV. I want you in the classroom with me, and that's what we'll be doing tomorrow.
That's so much fun, and everybody got a taste of what that's like today, because you start to show us all different things, because I have yet to see you stumped. So next week it's going to be me. I think you're away, so I'm going to be doing a watch party, which I'm looking forward to. So everybody jump on board. We'll have some fun. The following week we have yet to determine what that is, but we'll figure that out soon. But whoever can send me some emails today, first 3 that send me membership class in the subject, we'll give you an invitation. We're noon. Is it noon Eastern, 9 Pacific in the morning?
That's correct. 9 to 11 Pacific. Translate it to your own time zone so that Frank's brain doesn't blow up.
Yeah, I'm always jumping around time zones. So that's it for today. Anything else you wanted to say before we depart?
Yeah, go ahead and pull up the cheat sheet screen again, and I'll kind of talk over it what we do.
Great.
Goes like this. Technology is a moving freight train. It's a bullet train. It's moving faster than you can imagine, and things change while we're talking about them. Things are released, things are fixed, companies go out of business. Things are constantly changing. Your phone, your computer, your iPad is your lifeline to connect to all of the information of human history and every human being you've ever met. Using it is allowing you to be a better person, be a better human, be more connected, be more informed. if you are wasting time searching, struggling, scrambling around, trying to figure out how to do some basic task that you know will help you, stop doing it alone. That doesn't work. You're never going to be able to keep up with all of it by yourself unless you have no job, you're retired, and all you do is watch YouTube 24/7. And even then, I question you'll be up to speed. Your other choice is get in a relationship with me, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through these videos, whether it's through my classes or courses. I've spent more than 20 years making technology simple for everyone. And I want to make it simpler for you. Let me help.
That's great. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. And I'll see everybody next week for a watch party. And hopefully we'll see some of you tomorrow at the membership class. That'll be fun.
Awesome. I have one last thing to say, Frank, before we hit our time. On Black Friday and the Saturday and Sunday following Black Friday, we will be having an exclusive free class series, 3 classes teaching you how to get more done than you ever thought possible, how to organize your life, keep track of what's important to you, and execute on it. So if that's important to you, email Frank. He'll make sure you've got the link and the information for that. And otherwise, stay tuned. There's more coming.
Yeah,
there's always more coming.
Registration is going to open this weekend, so we'll be blasting that out on our social media, so you'll have an opportunity to sign up for that. And we'll be keeping everybody abreast of it. So a lot happening at the MacWhisperer.
Always, always. Plus, we hit 40,000 subscribers yesterday. So, hey, that's cool too.
So awesome.
Thank you all. Thank you, Frank. Thanks for having me.
See you soon.